Which one?
to require the 21 tons of asphalt for
Okay.
repairs.
Courtney wasn't quite ready. Thank all y'all for coming out tonight. I don't know why y'all are here. Unless y'all been following us on TV and you just want to come down here and see it in person. But no, we're glad everybody's here, and we're glad that you care enough about the city to come out and express some of your thoughts. So hopefully by the end of the meeting we'll all come to good agreements with everybody, and we'll do our best.
Courtney.
Are you ready, Courtney?
Yes, well, I'm ready.
She is ready?
Yes, I'm good.
All right, let's see. You ready?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let's call the meeting to order. If everybody would stand for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Please bow your head. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you this afternoon just asking for your guidance, your wisdom in the actions that we take here today. We ask that you would just indwell yourself upon us, Father. Just let us briefly dip into your wisdom, Father. We make good decisions pertaining to the citizens of this city and the city's business that we have to handle here, Father. We just ask for your guidance in everything that we say and do, and everything we ask in the precious name of Jesus. It is the only name that's worthy. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Didn't get by this one tonight. So roll call.
Here.
Two's here.
Three's here.
At large is here.
4's here.
5's here.
6 is here.
Courtney, everybody's present? Yes, ma'am.
That's. Hey, while the mayor's looking at that, guys, just Courtney's doing double duty tonight, so take it easy on her a little bit. If we all make a motion at the same time, at least give her a wave to let her know who's doing it. So that would help.
That will help. All right, so the first item is public hearings. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Courtney, would you read?
Notice of hearing was posted on subject property 123 South Island View Avenue, Long Beach, Mississippi, on February 9th, 2026, by enforcement officer Dale Stogner, and mailed to Gretchen Ball, 816 Magnolia Street, Long Beach, Mississippi, 39560. Notice was returned to sender on February 26, 2026.
Good deal. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak towards this particular item for this public hearing? Yes, ma'am. Come on up. And just state your name and address.
My name is Erica Soot. I live at 816 Magnolia Street. I'm the tenant there. Gretchen Bell is the owner. She lives in Arizona. And she just asked me to come today to let you know. She still said she spoke to someone on Friday, but that she didn't have the information for the person she's hired to replace the roofs. And it's Steve Smart with Smart Solutions, and I have all of his information and stuff I can give to whoever.
All right. Do you have a time frame on when they plan to get started on it?
She just said this month, that they would both be done this month.
All right. And you live there now?
I do at 816.
Okay. Oh, 816.
Magnolia
That's
Street.
the next item.
Right. 123 is around the corner. They both belong to her, though.
Are you speaking on 123 as
Yes.
well?
He's
Okay,
doing
good.
both of the roofs.
Okay. So any other discussion you'd like to have? Anyone else in the audience wish to talk? All right. Can I get a motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion and second. You got that, Courtney?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Pleasure of the board.
Mr. Mayor, I think what we should do on this is go ahead and move forward with the adjudication, but with the instruction that if you'll give Mike, your gentleman here in the gray shirt, your contact or the contact for this, and Mike, you work with it, give it to give it the month and just follow up with us.
If that's the form of a motion, I'll second it.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? And I really do appreciate if she's really, within the next month, that would be great. We'll work with you.
Yeah,
All in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next item is 816 Magnolia Street. Can I get a motion to open the hearing?
Motion.
Motion second. Courtney, will you spread notes across the minutes, please?
Use number?
Notice of hearing was posted on subject property 816 Magnolia Street, Long Beach, Mississippi, on February 9th, 2026, by zoning enforcement officer Dale Stogner, and mailed to Gretchen Ball, 816 Magnolia Street, Long Beach, Mississippi, 39560. Notice was returned to sender on February 23rd, 2026.
All right, and I bet you want to talk on this one too.
Nope, that's the same thing.
So, all in favor to,
Well,
well, go ahead.
Motion to close.
Same, she's going to do that one?
Yes, he's
within the
handling
next-
both of the roofs. He's doing it, I guess, as a package deal for her. They're both going to be done by the end of the month.
Fantastic. Anything else you want to say?
No, sir.
Can I get a motion to close the hearing?
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Pete,
Any discussion?
Same announcement as previous?
I'll second that motion from Pete.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Let's see, public comments. A lot of public
Thank you.
comment.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. Do we want to hold, all right, so most of these are about Shelter Rock. Do we want to wait till we get to the planning minutes?
That's,
All right,
that's
so
up to-
we have a lot of people on here tonight about Shelter Rock. So I think we allow 2 minutes per person.
you want to hold it over to the,
Let's hold it till the.
Save it till we get to
I-
that.
Mayor,
So,
I believe with the discussion that takes place, it'll satisfy some of that. I would assume.
but giving them their option to speak, though.
So what we're going to do is we're going to wait till we get to the planning commission minutes, and then we'll take up the public comments.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right, next one is proclamation for the Girl Scouts, United States of America. Service Unit 610. Courtney, would you read the proclamation, please?
Yes. Recognizing Girl Scouts of the United States of America on its 114th birthday and celebrating its legacy of providing girls with a supportive, inclusive space where they can explore their world, build meaningful relations, and have access to experiences that provide them for a life of leadership. Whereas March 12, 1912, Girl Scouts of the United States of America was founded with a mission to build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. Whereas reflecting upon the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, Girl Scouts is an important part of the American story as it launched a girl-led movement that celebrates girls' independence spirits, encouraging them to enhance their unique strengths and forge their own opportunities. Whereas Girl Scouts at its core embody a commitment to the community through service and civic engagement, and Girl Scouts are active across the country every day, showing up to serve, lead, and make a difference in their communities. Whereas Gold Award Girl Scouts are trailblazers who collectively delegate hundreds of thousands of hours to tackle the most pressing challenges facing their communities and beyond with measurable, long-lasting, and far-reaching results. Whereas the Girl Scouts Leadership Experience offers girls the 21st century program in science, technology, engineering, and math, the outdoors, entrepreneurship, and beyond, encouraging girls to make meaningful connections and develop invaluable life skills along the way. Whereas 2026 marks the 100th World Thinking Day, an annual celebration hosted by the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, and celebrated by Girl Scouts in its 153-member organization that uplift international friendships, reflect on our global Girl Scout movement, and celebrate girl voices on important issues that affect girls and young women across the world. Whereas in July 2026, Girl Scouts will host the 58th National Council Session and the Girl Scouts Unite event, celebrating all the ways that Girl Scouts made history in Washington, D.C., a convention where more than 10,000 Girl Scouts alum supporters unite to explore, celebrate, and reflect upon the history of the Girl Scout movement alongside fellow changemakers, dreamers, and doers. Girl Scouts of Greater America serves 4,400 girls across South Mississippi. I, Timothy Pierce, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of Long Beach, do hereby applaud the Girl Scout movement and Girl Scouts of Greater Mississippi for 114 years of building girls of confidence, courage, and character, who make the world a better place, and I declare the week of March 8th through the 14th as Girl Scout Week, highlighting
Girl Scout. All right, thank y'all so much.
I have something I want to share on behalf of myself and Police Chief Billy Seal. On February 17th, I attended a Harrison County 911 Commission meeting where Mr. Gil Bailey read his report to the commission. Mr. Bailey also handed out the yearly PSAP, Public Safety Answering Point report, to each appropriate entity representative. While he was explaining that report and what it consisted of, I briefly scanned Long Beach's portion of it. When he was about to finish, he announced that only one dispatch center had passing grades for all 12 months, and that department was Long Beach. I had no idea this was coming, and the report gives statistics for all the calls, how many calls for each hour of the day and what type of call. Along with the calls, it has a statistic for how quickly they answer 911 calls. To receive a passing grade in this area, they must answer a 911 call within 15 seconds, and you must be 90 percentile or above to get a passing grade. Our dispatcher's lowest percentage for 1 month was a 93.3%, and their highest was a 99.9%. I was very proud of our dispatchers for the job they had done. Their job is so important to what we do as first responders. We cannot function without them. And I'd like to take a moment to congratulate them. They didn't even know they were in a competition. But they did so well, and I want to thank them for a job well done. Their job, they are out of sight in a little room in the fire department, taking calls and sending information out to us, police and fire, that they are out of sight and out of mind. And I just wanted to take a minute to recognize them. There's some in the audience. Y'all can come up.
Yes.
Commander McWright.
Yeah, don't let McWright get out of there.
All right, do we have any amendments?
I do.
To municipal docket?
I'd like to amend the doc to make an appointment to the tree board.
Second.
Good under 17, 19, new business.
I have one, two actually. One, I guess would be 20, would be, agenda descriptions.
Under 20?
I'll second.
And 21 would just, status of our audit.
Okay.
What was 19?
19 was tree board
I
appointment.
get a motion to approve the Board of Aldermen minutes of February 17th, 2026.
So moved. Second.
Motion on Joey, a second on Timmy.
Discussion.
Discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I apologize, I wasn't here at the last meeting, but the question came up regarding what we're getting back for our investment to the different programs that we donate money to. Example, Jeep in the Coast, Cruising the Coast, and Carnival. Just wanted to, because there was a lot of question about the numbers, Patrick tried to answer it, but I wanted to kind of fill in the blank, specifically on the request with Jeepin. Last year, their vendor village brought in a gross sales, just the vendor village down at the foot of Jeff Davis, of $480,000. That is a net of taxes back to the city of $6,216. Basically, we also net a profit of roughly $2,000 off of their permits. So in return for hosting Jeepin, we get a return of $8,216 in tax revenue just off of vendor village. That's before they sell their first meal to any one of our restaurants, drinks, gas, lodging, anything like that. I did speak to Chief Seal. We're looking at about $5,000 in overtime for the police department during that week as well. And so kind of just giving some feedback on what we're putting in, what we're getting back. I think our return on that one specifically is very good. I'm working on the other ones just to kind of give everybody an update. But what I would also suggest, when we see these come up and we do have the requests, I think what we need to also do is, when we're considering this, talking to our business owners, asking them, what kind of return do you see on those? And I think that's where the real input comes from. The fact that, are they having record days or not? Because we can't, so that the public knows, we can't pull just a weekly report of what was our tax sales for the second week of March or first week of March. You get the state gives you a month, and here you go, take it or leave it. They're not going to expand on it. So I just kind of wanted to shed some light for you guys on that, and just because there's a lot of questions, and if there's a way for anybody to answer those, I think that's where we need to go the further step when we do this.
Yeah,
So,
and I think that's pretty much what we came up with. We were going to work on just what you started there.
Yeah.
To kind of put a return on investment. And the one thing you really can't put a return on is, a lot of people are moving into Long Beach.
Back off of what we're saying. After that meeting, I went to almost every single restaurant and business on this Jeff Davis Avenue, and without hesitation, every one of them said it's significantly major for these events to happen. In the wintertime, their business is all but shut down due to outside venues, and they need them 4 days or 1 day to get them through that month or 2 months. I was told that 4 days, and some of these businesses do more for them in 4 days than it takes them to do 2 months at regular work and stuff. So it is huge. I don't think that we quite get what it's so big for these businesses. They need it. And these businesses is our city. And they're needed, they're appreciated, and all of these events are as well.
Yep.
I just want to make a point, thank Donald for bringing that up.
I just heard Donald say that, and I'm not trying to split hairs here or anything, but, you know, we said we had $480,000 of sales with the vendors, and said that that's $6,216 to the city. That's not right. You know, that's 12%, that's basically almost 13% of that number. We don't get that. There's 7% sales tax. And the point I was making last week, and you weren't here, Donald, I want to make it again. We don't get 7% of all those sales.
Correct.
We only get a portion, a fraction, 1.2 or 3% of that 7%.
We get 18.5% of the 7%.
Let me finish, please. You know, that's what we get back. So, I'm not trying to split hairs, and the whole point of this is, let's make sure when we look at these things that we're realist and we're looking at actually what we get back or try to get back, and that's the main thing, is that we're just taking a look at it. We all voted for this unanimously, and again, Donald wasn't here, and I appreciate him bringing that up tonight, and I respect it for that. That's all.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next one is the Planning Commission minutes of February 26th, regular meeting. Can I have a motion?
Yes, we did.
Motion with discussion.
We got a motion?
Second.
We got a second? Discussion.
My motion is to approve the planning in its entirety, but remove Shelter Rock to discuss separate.
All right, and then if you would, you needed to add that one on as a separate as well. Yours?
Well, I'm going to, Patrick, if you don't mind amending that as well, and take 432 Klondike and address that separately, because I'll have to recuse myself for that.
I'll make that my motion.
He's got a motion to do all the planning minutes with the exception of number 1, 432 Klondike Road, and preliminary plat Shelter Rock. We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Let's go ahead and we'll do the certificate of yours so you can step out. All right, the next one is the number 1 item, certificate of re-subdivision on 432 Klondike Road. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
We got a motion. Second. Who's second? Who's second?
I'll second.
Second. All, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, Donald. All right, the next one, which I guess why most of y'all are here, is the Shelter Rock plat approval, 109 Shelter Rock Drive. So, I guess what we'll do, first off, I just want to let everybody know that tonight's meeting that we're talking about tonight has nothing to do with cutting down of any trees. This is strictly the laying out of lots, okay? And I know there's a lot of people that are upset about the trees and this and that. Tonight is when he actually sells each lot or comes in to ask for a building permit on each lot, he will then have to come back for approval on an oak tree. So with that said, we'll go ahead and start and let everybody talk, and we'll start off with Ms. Hamilton. If you would, just say your name and address, and you got 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'm Carolyn Hamilton. I live at 5144 Mitchell Road, Long Beach. I grew up at 427 Magnolia Street. That's our backyard backed into the homes that ran from the beach up to my parents' home. We played under those trees. They had tennis courts, pools. We valued at that time, and we loved to sit under the oak trees down there. Through the years, we've lost so much between development, Hurricane Camille, and Hurricane Katrina. The oak trees that are on that property survived Camille and Katrina, which is hard to believe. They're there. To me, there's something that makes Long Beach special throughout this community. I live here because I choose to. Don't want to live anywhere else. Love this town. My children were raised here and were blessed to be raised here. And now I'm so lucky I have 2 young grandchildren here. I want them to grow up where they can walk down a sidewalk and have shade. We used to walk every evening. Daddy would take all of us, and we'd walk down the north side of Highway 90 under all those trees. And it was gorgeous, it was cool, it was just fun. I'm not against development. I've talked to several of you. I have fussed since Hurricane Katrina that Long Beach has to have development, or the schools in the city won't make it. 2 years ago, we had a tax increase to keep the status quo. I pay it, I live here, I understand. But you like to get something new. My concern is the people that do these development, nothing against them, they're willing to take a chance on us. They come in and their job is to make money and as much as possible. But then they leave. And what are we left with? The houses might be nice, but it surely isn't the same property without those trees. The value around it goes down. And I think it's time in Long Beach we need to have serious discussions of what we want to be in 20 years and in 30 years. I remember a time going down Jeff Davis where the oak trees went all the way down almost to the beach. Well, really right down to the beach, Save a Center and AMP. I know I'm old, but I remember that. And I want my grandchildren to have memories of those majestic oaks that they can sit under, they can play, have fun. And I don't want it just to be on the Harper McCon property. So anything that happens, I would just hope we can balance what we need with saving what we've been blessed with. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hamilton. Is Kristen Leonard? Just state your name and address. And,
Hi,
2 minutes.
Kristen Leonard. I am the current owner of 427 Magnolia, getting ready to start our building process for our house on that property. Our property, as it currently sits, will be butted up against minimum 2, possibly 3 of these lots, as well as coming directly adjacent to my fellow 2 neighbors that are between Magnolia and Shelter Rock. So not bringing up trees in this conversation, we have key concerns looking at this plot. First, significant issues with draining. We understand there's a retention pond, but what does that actually mean with the retention pond being directly adjacent to the road? And how does that mean during a storm, hurricane, or other? We also have concerns about significant safety egress when it comes to 16 additional homes being in that very small area, whether that is fire, given this is a 0 lot line subdivision, whether that is emergency access for first responders, given there is no cut through to 90 or on 90 from Shelter Rock, you have to turn and make a U-turn. Significant issues related to general zoning of an R3 high-density multifamily facility or development in what historically has never had more than 5 homes on that same portion of property. So historically found from 1969, pre-Hurricane Camille, up until Katrina, there was no more than 5 homes on those lots. So understanding the value of individuals like myself who are building nice homes in the area, what precedents are we setting as a city to allow these high-density areas right along our waterfront properties? And is that the image and the precedents we want to set for developments moving forward? So with that, thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the next one is Jennifer Buckman. State your name and address, please, for the record.
Hey, I'm Jennifer Buchanan. I live at 906 West Railroad Street in Long Beach. I'm here to, I just want to express the need to maintain our native trees here in Long Beach. You know, we've set aside a nice urban forest, but, you know, one little urban forest doesn't take into account the rest of the city. This area that you've got, that is being proposed, not you, is taking in, you're gonna put 16 little toothpick houses up on sticks, side by side by side by side. Instead of a urban forest, we're gonna have an urban piling, it's just going to be awful. You know, it's like, why do we have to be so dense? Why can't we keep it the way it was, work within those property lines to manipulate the home so you don't have to take out the trees? Yes, some of them, I don't know if they're damaged. I understand having to move out trees that are hazards to both the road and to the people. But, you know, I guess I should say I'm the president of the Gulf Coast chapter of the Mississippi Native Plant Society. So I'm all about native plants. You know, you can take out the big trees and put in a palm tree, but that palm tree does nothing, except maybe for starlings. They like it. Let's see what we can do to fit in our houses, fit them in with the trees, and not take out the trees and put in another tiny little, you know, crepe myrtle or something that does nothing for anybody. Let's keep it the way it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Lane Sutton. Lane, please state your name and address for the record.
Blaine Sutton, 130 Dearman Avenue, Long Beach, right around the corner from Shelter Rock. Mr. Mayor and Board of Aldermen, I'm here speaking regarding the minutes of the Planning and Development meeting last Thursday. I urge you to pull from the minutes the plot approval of the project on Shelter Rock, or either a table or deny it. The Planning and Development Commission approved this preliminary plot plan 5-2. Some members, after the vote, asked for clarification regarding the trees and site work. The owner's agent asked if he could move dirt and start utility work and was told yes. Utility work includes demo existing subsurface drainage, which passes within 3 feet to 5 feet of existing trees, and relocate it to the center of the property where 7 mature protected live oak trees currently thrive. Utilities would also include water, gas, and sewer work to the property, which would encounter, most likely, all the trees on the property and be harmful to all the trees. The developer also plans to incorporate a retention pond. Per the elevation, it looks to be 5 to 6 feet deep, with an overflow onto Shelter Rock, which already has drainage issues. This sets up the perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes. I understand it's much cheaper to dig a hole than to haul in dirt. And this tells which direction this developer may plan to take. 2 meetings ago, this board heard an appeal from another developer with a similar project near Coastal Kitchen, who was denied a tree removal permit by the tree board and affirmed by the Planning and Development Commission and approved by this board through the minutes. This board rejected his appeal, and he came up with another plan and will incorporate around the tree. What is the difference from this project and the one today? This project totally ignores the protected trees on the property with claims of pest and infestation, which are false. You should have some documentation passed around. No tree removal permits have been applied for this project, but there have been at least 3 revisions to the preliminary plot plans. Why has this property been permitted to bypass the tree removal process of this city, unlike the developer several meetings ago? No site work or plot approval should be granted this development until the city makes a decision regarding these protected trees. I'm not against this project, but I'm against 16 lots on 3 parcels of property, of land that once had a house on each parcel. A more reasonable 10 to 12 lots max would be better suited and incorporate the trees, which would add more value to this property. I get it. It's about money and maximum returns, but when you buy property in this city with protected trees, you don't get a free pass. This board should not set a precedent and allow this to proceed any further until this developer files a tree removal permit to see what land he has to work with. Any further approvals only digs the city into a further hole regarding regulating the buildable area of this property and regarding the protected trees. I hope you will pull this item and discuss amongst yourselves and vote to deny this preliminary plot plan until the developer applies for a tree removal application. Thank you.
Next, we have Daniel Harden. Daniel, please, your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Daniel Harden. I live at 98 Shelter Rock.
And I'm Ashley, also live at 98 Shelter Rock.
Mayor, Board of Aldermen, not against growth. We have.
Yeah, if you could.
I'm sorry. I'm not against
no,
growth
that's fine.
at all.
That's fine.
Understand growth. Growth is good. It's certain kind of growth. We have the rules and regulations on lot sizes, et cetera. They're there for a reason. Couple of points I want to bring up. You want to bring up?
Well, we moved here 2 years ago. We made Long Beach our home. We love it. We live right where this is all about to happen. On the plot, it looks like there's going to be a road that butts into our driveway. There are severe drainage issues, which someone else brought up, but the traffic is obviously going to increase a lot for us personally. And we just want to know how, who's going to take care of common areas, this opens up, if you've got 16 homes, how many of those are allowed to sublet? Are they all going to be Airbnbs? Are people going to be coming and going all the time? We don't know what to expect. When we bought the home that we live in, we were under the impression it was 3 large lots, and then when the people that bought it started coming over and we were interacting with them, we were under the impression they were building a beautiful home and a few other houses, which would have been great. But this is not what they're proposing. And so we just have deep concerns about what it's going to do to our quality of life, our property value. We have a pretty small house, but we paid a good deal of money for it because Long Beach has good property value. We want to know if there's going to be a traffic count done. Are we going to be able to anticipate what this is going to do to this area? And as many people have already brought up, it's just, I don't mind there being homes there. I want to have neighbors, but that is a beautiful area. I'm not talking about trees, but it's a beautiful, beautiful area, and the whole city enjoys it when they drive by on 90 or when they come to our home, and we're so proud of where we live, and we want to keep being proud of it, and we don't want to have 16 zero lot line homes at our front door, because our front door faces Shelter Rock. It will face this. That will, instead of looking out there and seeing the Long Beach Inn and all the water, we're going to see these 16 homes. And that's not really what we signed up for when we bought the property, and it wasn't our understanding about, because we inquired, we saw the for sale sign, we inquired what's happening with that. It mattered to us when we bought the home. Do you have anything to add?
On the retention pond issues, who's going to be responsible for the common areas?
It would be the HOA.
What now, I'm sorry.
In a major subdivision like that, there is a requirement that they have an HOA, and the HOA would be responsible for all common areas.
Well, we've all had an HOA, and we know how that goes a lot of the time.
Don't disagree.
So that's why I'm not in one now.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it. Is that Sharon? 19041 Pineville Road? Yes, Sharon.
Hey, y'all, I don't live anywhere near Magnolia.
State your name and address.
I'm Sharon Mesick, 19041 Pineville Road. I've lived here about 50 years, and again, I'm a resident by choice. And I live on Pineville in Ward 1, nowhere near Shelter Rock, which admittedly is a beautiful area. Wanted to tell y'all that I recently retired from the Department of Commerce, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, where I was the regional director, and I was responsible for delivering data and information to boards like this and citizens like this to help them make informed decisions. So what's become evident to me in this discussion is that y'all are missing information that is really critical. to making a decision, and because of that, I would ask you to not vote on this today until you have additional information. I have a short list of suggestions for the board of what I think is missing from the discussion and what you might need to inform your decision. Okay, so the city has processes in place. You have a tree board, you have a planning commission. It's important for the public to understand the processes and to see them being followed. We're missing transparency in these discussions. So a lot of people came down thinking this was a discussion to save the lives of 7 trees. Ultimately, it may lead to that. But because, here's number 2, the minutes from the Planning Commission are not posted yet. So we do not actually know. We're coming down here, so we're preventive. We don't actually know what y'all are voting on, and we don't, the minutes are not distributed to us here. It's not posted online anywhere, so we don't actually know. So again, timeliness and transparency. Obviously, for this development, in particular on Shelter Rock, the condition of these trees in question must be documented according to standard procedures. The Mississippi State Extension, the state arborist, there's all kinds of resources to look at these trees. And let's be honest about what we're looking at. Nobody's really against development. We all hope our taxes will go down if more development comes in, or we can raise the tax base. We need a balance, right, between residents, property taxes, sales taxes, commercial development, and industry. Okay, we all want this balance. Part of that balance is that when developers come in with a plan, and it may impact our assets in the city, we need a mitigation plan. Okay, we got to take out a couple of trees to make this work. What are they doing instead? Are they going to plant additional trees? What's the contribution here? The quid pro quo, if you will, for the citizens, so that people are not fighting but are working together to achieve. So, and my last comment is this. Within the government, within NOAA, we did a lot of work to establish methods to identify a dollar value for your environment. I mean, we're a Department of Commerce. We care about your return on investment. We care about the bottom line. There are methods in place to assess the value of your ecosystem. The cultural components of that are real, but so are the contributions to your air and water quality in addition to your quality of life. And so that's part of the information that you need, and I think if you were to have information at that level, it might prevent some of the individual property line squabbles because you would have a big picture planning and you would understand the value of what we're trying to do as a city here as a whole. It just seems really prudent to look at methods such as ecosystem valuation to help inform your decisions, to be sure that all the information is gathered right, so that we're getting on the same page and working together going forward. So I thank you for that. I cut out a whole paragraph about these trees when you said you weren't making a tree decision tonight. We'll be back.
No,
So thank y'all for listening.
Thank you for your input. Now we got Deborah at 120 Shelter Rock. Deborah, please state your name and address, please, for the record.
My name is Deborah Sanji, and I live at 120 Shelter Rock, and I also own the undeveloped lot south of 120 Shelter Rock. I'm going to bypass about the trees too and go right to the plot plan that states site work will begin upon approval of this plan. And what the real meaning of site work is, this activity can disturb the soil, compact root zones, and alter drainage patterns for mature live oaks. This kind of disruption can cause irreversible damage. In other words, even the trees not listed for removal are at risk. Once the site work begins, the root systems of healthy, protected live oaks can be compromised to the point where the trees decline or die, effectively allowing their removal later under the justification of poor health. I'll move forward and also leave out some of this stuff. Get to this. Once these trees are gone, we're not going to replace them in our lifetime. So I'm asking tonight that we respectfully require verified independent documentation of any claimed pest infestation, consider alternative site plans that preserve these historic trees, reevaluate whether this site development is appropriate for this established neighborhood, and ensure that no site work begins until the health and status of every protected tree is independently confirmed. We are not opposed to growth, as others have stated. We want growth. We just want it to be responsible and to fit in the established neighborhood.
I think there's Erica at 816 Magnolia Street. You here? Changed her mind. All right, that's all I see on the comments.
Mayor, she was the lady who,
That's what I thought was talking about the two. Okay.
she may have signed up in error.
Gotcha. All right, so now we're going to, I guess we took the motion. Got a motion. I need a motion to take action on this particular item.
Motion discussion.
Got a motion?
Second.
Got a second? Discussion.
All right, so I think, I've had all the phone calls, and I've really looked into kind of the process. So in the past on projects, I'll say, for example, not to jump into a tree issue, but with the hotel. So initially, we approve a sketch plat, which a sketch plat is basically, it can be a pretty rough drawing of what the overall layout of a subdivision is going to be. That goes through planning, it's approved. After that, we had a meeting. It was, I know it was my ward, so it was me, it was Donald, it was Mike, so we had code, we had Griff, fire, Joe was in there, David was in there, the mayor was in there, the previous mayor, and we sat down and went over the actual construction plans. They had pictures of what it's going to look like, renderings, they had the detailed construction drawings, and if you look at our ordinance, it states in there that you can submit your sketch plat with your construction drawings at the same time, but it also, with a caveat that it says, this is not recommended, and I think it's not recommended for instances like this. We have got burned of saying of,
Magnolia
does
Walk.
this Magnolia Run, which just throw this out there, it is the developers who have taken it over are not the initial developers who did this, but this approval would give them the right to go in and immediately begin groundwork. I am not so sure that if we approve this tonight, that they, based on the minutes that I read, that they do not have, I think it would be a legal opinion whether or not they have the right to go in and take trees, because it states from the city engineer, rightfully so, he's following the correct process, that they're ready to begin construction. These trees are listed in the plans and shown in the plans where these roadways will be. It is clear that this project could not continue without, or even be somewhat possible without removing these trees. Months ago, I spoke to the developer, and he sent me an original kind of drawing, and I said, I'm no expert. Obviously, I depend on code and everybody else. So I said, I can see like a bunch of variances in there. I was like, look, we have all these codes. We have R1, R2, R3 for a reason. Like your project, he's asking if I was okay. I said, no variances. Like as long as whatever you can do to build within the code without requiring any variances, that's par for the course. I believe that is fair. If we want to change R1, R2, R3 restrictions, I think that's something the board would have to look at. I don't know if it's changing it project by project makes sense, but that was kind of my opinion on the issue, is no variances. And that, to me, would include trees. And I think the proper process for this would have been a sketch map everybody sit down and say, okay, before we even go into spending, and I'm giving the developer kind of the benefit of the doubt for him to go and spend what looks like thousands and thousands of dollars, we could have all sat down and said, look, these trees are going to be an issue. Like, before you go and spend all this money, that is going to be, and I think that would probably be my opinion going forward, is if these trees are infested, which I don't know if they are or not, I think it needs to come, the burden of proof needs to come from the developer that they truly are, whether we want to take the next step of also verifying independently whether they are infested or insect infested or not, but I don't know if I feel comfortable going forward with these plans, like, because he could go tomorrow and, like I think Mr. Sutton said, he can start digging ditches. We don't really have necessarily, I don't think, have anything in place to how close he can dig to that tree or anything like that at this time. And like I said, I think Ms. Hamilton stated, I am not against this developer or any developer. He bought the land. As it sits right now, he is not asking for any variances in regards to lot lines and even drainage. That's an issue that, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what it looks like just sitting here today. I think some of you have that question. I would like to have an idea of the aesthetics, but as far as setbacks, I think the developer has met all the requirements that we currently have in place, and I think that's all we can ask as far as that goes. Now, the trees are they're gonna be an issue. I don't know how we can approve a plan knowing that these trees are going to have to come down for this. Some are in the street, some are, all of them would have to go for this. So my question is, if we were to approve this tonight, based on all of this, and asking them to go back to planning, which I'm not even sure they would be necessarily required to do based on what the minutes of planning that we would be approving say, what happens? We approve their plan, they have to go to planning again. Let's just throw it out there. For example, I'm not saying it will or not, that we deny the trees. Now this developer is gonna have to go and redesign this entire development. It just, to me, the process seems out of order. If we would have kind of went with the ordinance recommendation of, and it would have probably been easier for the developer too, sketch, plat, we could have discussed the tree, said, before you come and present, this has got to be taken care of. I just think the process has got a little, and I think the hotel's the only time we've done that process. My recommendation going forward would be any commercial development, any major subdivision or minor subdivision, we should, and planning to, it should be a sketch plat. Everybody if it's your ward, you're the alderman. Obviously, Donald is everybody's alderman. He can be there, and fire, code, engineering, sit around and say, these are the issues we see. I think that would prevent a lot of the guessing. And as far as transparency goes, like, we're not that far ahead of what we know than what you know. We get these packets on Friday and we meet on Tuesday. So, and I texted out to a bunch of people, if you ask, I do agree that planning minutes need to be out quicker. I'll address that when I got some kind of things like that I added for the agenda. I think we can kind of address that there. But my opinion is that we table until we can come to some agreement on the trees.
Are you wanting to make a substitute motion?
Actually, before I make any motion, I know that there are other people who would like to speak.
Yeah, I would. I'd like
speak.
to add a few points. First of all, very well stated, Patrick, and I would concur with you 100%. I think we would be, my opinion, as a board, we would be doing ourselves and this community a disservice if we were to go in and approve this as it's laid out tonight without the minimum verification that these trees are diseased or full of pest. If in fact somebody with some credentials can validate that, then we're talking about a whole different deal. But I would agree with my colleague that to do that tonight would not be a proper, not follow the proper process as you stated.
Any other discussion?
And I just want to make it clear that I am, and I think a lot of us agree, I'm very grateful for the developer, or any developer who shows interest. Hamilton said, you know, it's a large investment. You're always taking a risk. This is in no way a shot to any developer. I think our process could be better for this. You know, I just want to make that clear. This isn't like a jump on anybody or anything like that. I think it's just we need to ensure that we all know, like common sense tells us this project cannot take forward with all those trees not coming out. If that's the process, I think that they need to go through planning with the trees. And once we have resolution on that, then we can move forward with, other than that, this developer with the current plan meets most of the lot, or all of the lot line requirements and things like that. And I understand, I don't know that I would want 17 houses built next to me. I completely agree, but I think if the city wants to change that, it needs to be changed through zoning. We need to rezone areas. I don't know that you can pull the rug out from somebody. I think if we have a set standard of rules that we're playing by, I think it would be financially unfair to property owners to just move the goal line. So I think that my motion will be that before I'm going to table it.
Hang on, yeah, we got a little bit more discussion.
Because first thing I was going to ask for is just clarification, because you made a motion to start.
I'm going to make a final one.
Okay, that's all I'm asking is, one, if you'll clear that up. But I guess my question is, if he's doing this by right tonight, if it's all been approved by right, how do we come back and decline it if it's according to our rules today? Because there's nothing in here about the trees. And I get what you're saying, so that's where I'm looking for the answer.
Our ordinance allows us, if you read our ordinance, I printed it off, but I forgot it.
That's fine.
It says for special circumstances, basically, that we can add additional requirements.
And that's fine. And I guess that's where I was looking for.
And I don't even know that I'm adding I would motion to table until the developer goes through the process of requesting removal of these trees through our planning tree board process and back to us.
Does that mean he'd have to cease and desist any work?
Well, without approval of this
He's
plat,
tabling
then he
this,
cannot
so
we're
begin-
tabling.
action.
No action.
He can't start work.
Okay,
So
I want to make sure.
Just on the 7 trees, I went out there with an oak tree guy, urban forest guy, Larry Townson, who is very well known for his knowledge of oak trees. And there was only one oak tree that's infested. So if we were to say no oak trees come down, he could legally take out one oak tree because it's rotten.
And
So
before,
that one we need. Now, what else I'm going to do, and I think it's very important, next Tuesday when we get to my part, I have this guy coming to talk to the Board of Aldermen, the Tree Board, and the Planning Commission, just so they understand the importance of oak trees and the impacts oak trees have on your environment.
So Patrick,
all right, and let me give you a big
let's-
summary of
Thank you.
So this is not a motion to deny the project. My motion is that,
Can you do it pending tree removal approval?
the problem is if let's just, and I'm talking like he would be sitting here, if these trees, if it is voted on that these trees cannot come down, that entire subdivision is gonna have to be redesigned.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, if you can do approval of the minutes on this particular item pending a research on the trees that want to come down, and we approve for the trees to come down, that you wouldn't take any action on this until that
I think I would rather
process is done.
table it.
If I may, Mayor, let me explain something, because Alderman Frazier hit on something, as did Alderman Bennett, as did one of the members of the audience who spoke. The plan as it was submitted is a very preliminary sketch site plan which conforms and complies with the preliminary initial requirement. And so what the Planning Commission considered is what is required to be before the Planning Commission. They didn't jump the gun necessarily and approve something prematurely and send it to the board. Alderman Bennett is correct, and the member of the audience is correct, that the way the process is set up, and I'm very familiar with it because Harrison County is the same way. It somewhat burdens boards like yourself because it does authorize in the manner process in which it goes from step 1 to 2 to 3, et cetera. It authorizes from the Planning Commission side a preliminary sketch, and developers routinely come before the Planning Commission and say, you know, hey, this retention pond drainage, that's something that is not before the commission at this point. We're gonna address that with city engineering, and we agree to comply with all their recommendations. They say the same thing about the tree board. Well, that's not before the Planning Commission at this time. It's just this preliminary sketch, and they're correct. That's the matter that the Planning Commission has authority and jurisdiction over at that time. But Alderman Bennett is also correct that it somewhat hamstrings a board like yourselves when you give them approval of a plat and they start investing time, resources, and money, and then say, well, you gotta let me do what I wanna do because I'm this far down the road. They're somewhat inconsistent with each other, and they create problems just like we're talking about tonight. So he is right, excuse me, that the board has the authority to add additional conditions to approval, but it's also, I apologize, it's also appropriate to consider tabling it and make sure those conditions are agreeable without allowing the developer to invest resources first.
Could
I
I
think
ask
that's prudent.
a question? So we
have
had, there is a sketch plat. That is your rough. Approval of a sketch plat does not give you the authority to begin construction. That would be the initial plat. Am I correct in that? Like, if I came and presented a sketch plat.
You mean construction or land clearing?
No, a sketch plat is just a very rough rendering of the layout of a development. Once.
Calling that preliminary?
No.
It's essentially subdividing a lot and platting out the number of parcels that he wants.
The best way to explain it is a sketch plat is, this is my idea. If that is approved, you have you cannot move forward. You will then come and work with the city to develop your preliminary plat, which includes construction plans, drainage. Now, I will say this developer just chose to combine them together and turn them all in at once. Like I said, our ordinance says it is acceptable to do that, but it is not recommended. So what if we, and this is, Steve, a question to you, Mr. Simpson, if we accepted it as only as a sketch plat, not as construction plans or? They were not submitted together. When was the sketch plat submitted? August. Okay.
August. That's what the Planning Commission voted on, the sketch plan? Back then.
Why didn't it come before us?
So this is the preliminary. So then this is the preliminary we're voting on tonight?
If this is their preliminary plat that planning approved, it would allow him to begin some site approval work.
So I think
that is what you wanted to have some conditions over at a minimum.
All right.
So it would be I think one of my, not to even kick this can down the road, I think we've already made it clear that if we want to add additional requirements, I think that going through the tree board process for the current trees would be my condition. I would approve as long as they go through that process. And
Table this one until they go through the tree board process.
I don't know that we have to.
I think he should go through the process from the get-go.
What's his motion?
And not not approve or pre-approve or anything. I think he needs to be treated just like this is a fresh project and go through the process, like it or not.
My question is, Patrick, why table it instead of just disapproving it? Because You're looking at six protected.
I think that we would give anybody the right and
think it's-
to go through the process that anyone would have to go through for tree removal. I don't think the developer did anything wrong. Like I said, I think this is.
I feel like that kicks the can down the road, as to use your.
I would approve on the condition that they go through and that the board approves removal of trees. Everything else.
I don't want to step on your toes, but
Go
let me
ahead,
see
you
if I,
make it.
let me see if I can
Donovan,
clear
I will
this
allow
up.
you to make
Thank
the
you, thank you. So I think what, I will make a secondary motion that we approve the plan tonight contingent on a tree removal plan meeting, this is not an open comment now. We approve the plot plan because it was done by right, and we're not going to change the rules in the middle of the game, with contingency of a tree removal plan. That's my motion.
So we got a motion.
Yes,
Do we have a second?
Hey,
We got a
amongst
motion.
here,
We got a
we'll be
second.
here all night.
Discussion.
Any further discussion?
That does stop him from moving forward.
Timmy.
That does stop him from moving forward until we go through the process with the trees.
Our engineer does, he's the one that evaluates all the drainage. Yeah, nothing goes forward until.
No,
we go
no
through the
work,
tree.
no work starts until
Donald,
he
do you
goes through the
mind-
tree
do you mind
process.
adding in your motion that no.
Mr. Mayor, I would ask
We're
that, I
tabling
mean,
all that. That's
open
not-
comments are
All right,
closed.
yeah, so we got a motion and a second on the table.
Patrick,
Any
you wanted
further
a,
discussion?
you wanted one more?
All right, I'm trying not to sound as dumb as I am up here. Okay. All right, so thank you. Steve, this is what I'm trying to do, if you want to help me out with this. So we don't want them to be able to move forward with any form of construction or groundwork or site work or anything until they go through the tree board process while approving the current layout of.
So that's, so
And
to
so
to
as I
reword
understand-
mine,
As I understand what he's saying is, in addition to the tree board approval and resolving that issue, that it would, as is normally required, also the authorized permits from the code office with respect to the retention pond, the drainage, the curb
that's
and gutter,
already-
those other things that they intend to do, which require code office approval, that they would not be able to do anything until they get that approval from engineering and the code office.
And everything else.
That's the engineering department and code office, correct?
No, I don't think so. I think they have that. We're worried about the tree process.
I harken back to the process. It starts when you buy a piece of property, you've got a tree that's been there for 100 years or whatever. You know, you need to be aware of that and work that, and address that issue first and foremost before you go in and start trying to back it and trying to back this thing
Timmy
in.
seconded it.
Trying to make it work.
I don't disagree, but unfortunately, that is not our process.
All right, could we restate the motion one more time?
the motion is to approve the plan from the Planning Commission contingent on no work being done until we have a plan for the trees, removal of trees.
So that's a motion, and we got a second. Any further discussion?
Would that consist of the tree board going out, making their recommendations?
That's-
Because
And it would come back
the
to
reason I
us.
ask is because there's a lot of, there was something that said there was nothing mentioned about tree removal, but if you get a magnifying glass and look at this map, it'll say tree removal due to infestation or pests.
that's exactly
But
why
who
we're
determined
backing
if, but who determined who, if the pests were in there?
Table all of it.
And that's why we're sending it back to the.
All right, I'm going to make a motion that we table all of it to the next meeting. We'll figure it out.
I'll second that.
All right, got a whoa, we got a motion on the table. We
Substitute
gotta-
motion.
No, we got to go through this substitute motion before we can make a new motion. So all in favor of Donald's motion?
Aye.
No.
Nay.
Nay.
No.
All right, motion fails.
Can we do name?
Hey,
All right, roll call.
Sorry. No.
We got no,
No.
aye.
No.
No.
Motion fails.
Okay, now.
Now we can come up with a
I'm
new
gonna make a
motion.
motion to table.
I'll second that motion.
So we got a motion and a second to table. Any further discussion?
I'd like to make an alternative motion. Make a motion, we disapprove it.
All right.
Let's table.
All right. Is that a substitute motion? Do I have a second? Do I have a second on the substitute motion? No second on the substitute motion. We go back to the primary motion. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Y'all restate what y'all just voted on again?
We tabled it. We tabled it.
Table.
Table.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Who seconded?
Joey, Jafari.
And who motioned?
Joey did it.
Joey motion?
Patrick motion, Joey
Patrick
second.
motion, Joey seconded, and then it passed.
Thank you.
All right, next
No problem.
item, approved docket of claims, number 030326. Can I get a motion?
I'll motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next one, unfinished business, acknowledgement of revenue expense report. As y'all remember, we didn't go through,
Can you gavel so I can't hear
hey,
you?
please,
Thank you.
if we could have quiet, please. David, thank you. All right, the next one is, if y'all remember the last meeting, we had a question about the revenue expense report. We went back and we found some issues with the rollover year-end process. That was corrected. The numbers are correct. You'll be getting an updated budget number that reflects the actual numbers. So can I get a motion to accept that revenues expense
Motion.
report? We got a motion? Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next one is the oak tree, discussion of the oak tree on city easements. Lita Ladner. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
We got a motion? Got a motion.
Second.
Got a second. Discussion?
I'm up. I know it. Thank you.
Discussion? All right. Lady, we're going, if you would, state your name and address, and we'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, y'all know
Because
what-
you are talking about an oak tree, right?
Yes.
And you
I
better be
sure-
careful leaving.
Yes, I know. Lita Ladner, 113 East 4th Street. Well, y'all already know why I'm here, because I was here at the last meeting.
All right. Well, do you want, have you changed your mind and you want to save that tree, or you want?
No, I sure don't.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it ain't 100 years old, y'all, now.
All right.
It's
So
a small one.
So this particular tree we're talking about, just everybody knows, it's on city property. It's outside of your property just a little bit. The tree board came out. The tree board denied cutting the tree down. So that's what we're voting on now. Lita would like to keep the tree, like to cut the tree down. So we're going to need a motion to either allow the tree to be cut down or follow the tree board recommendation of not allowing the tree to come down. Can I get a motion from anybody on the board?
In my ward, I'd like to make a motion. The tree is not a very substantial looking tree. It's crooked, it's ugly, and I don't have a problem with removing this particular tree.
And I will second that. And I will say, she's taking it out to beautify the property. And so.
I think the
Stand by
trees
my
that were
second.
planted there, they say 35 year, were planted too close
Yes.
together, and it's,
No, it's a fine tree.
it would give the tree next to it a chance to spread out and actually do better, I believe.
All right, so we got a motion on the table to cut it down. Do we have any further discussion? Donald?
No, sir.
Any
For
se-
clarification for the record, would the city cut it down or would Ms. Lita?
She would be responsible for taking it
Oh,
out.
yeah, I'm gonna pay for it.
And I told you, when I was at your house, that's not a bad-looking tree.
Yes, it is.
And I would debate it being a crooked, old, ugly tree.
Oh, you wasn't looking at it
Uh,
right. You
I
should've
must have been
back
on the
here
wrong
looking
side
at
when I was
It's
looking at
growing
it.
this way, 'cause it can't grow this way, 'cause y'all.
And
put-
it is on
put all
city
them
property,
trees down there too
and
close.
it is on city easement, and it's not on her property, so we got all right, we got a motion on the table.
And use my lawnmower blades when I have to cut over there, which is no grass over there.
And I think the tree board even had a solution that you would run your solar panel underneath the driveway to the side that you want to move the gate with? Is that not an option?
I don't believe so. He just told me that I could not put up a black iron fence with double gates with solar on each side because I get no sun on that side.
Because of that that oak tree?
Because of that tree.
Gotcha. All right, so I think he came up with a recommendation. The guy that went out and looked at it you got a solar panel here, solar panel there. He was saying move the solar panel to the other side, run a wire underneath the cement and hook it up to that side, so it would run off sunlight from the other side. That was on his recommendation from the tree board.
Which one?
That was the guy that came out.
Well, I had two of them.
Okay, well, that was their final recommendation. Well, that was their final recommendation. All right,
So help me here. There's a solution but it's not meeting your needs, Lita? There is a solution to save the tree, but you don't think that solution is workable for you? Can you explain yourself, please?
No, it's
Help me, I don't know. I'm at a loss.
it's already, I've got a lot of concrete out there too, because it's down on Fifth Street. It's on, it's the tree on Fifth Street. Did you go look at it?
I passed by it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I'm not a tree expert, I'll be honest.
Well, it's got.
I just know, all I know is it's on public land and we're trying to save trees. I want to be a good steward of that and
But I want to beautify my piece of property down there too, because I got two lots right there.
I understand.
on Fifth Street.
And there's,
I want to put up a nice fence, a iron, aluminum fence, whatever, with double gates and everything, and that tree right there needs to go.
there's two other
If it
trees
wasn't
right
for
beside
that,
it.
I wouldn't, I don't like cutting trees down. That's why I don't plant them in my yard.
are you amenable to planting trees if we take this down?
Well, I'll put you something back there, but I ain't putting another oak tree that's gonna grow up and give me shade.
Okay.
I'll put you something miniature there.
so I would,
Oh,
all right,
no.
we got a motion and a second. I would, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
No.
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 All right, roll call.
Nay.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
4-3. Motion fails.
I guess that means no.
I think that means no.
All righty.
All right, next item. Oh, boy. Next one is oak tree on Burke Avenue.
That is also in my ward.
We got an oak tree on Burke Avenue. Can I have a motion to cut down?
Motion.
We got a motion.
Second.
We got a second. Discussion.
If you'll read through what they said on the tree over there that's in question on Burke Avenue, it's leaning, the power company had trimmed one side of it, the root ball's pulling out of the ground, and their determination when they researched it was they believe in a short amount of time, this tree's probably gonna fall anyway, because the way it's configured, it's about a 40-degree angle leaning over the road, and there's really not much to it.
Right. It's a matter of time, and it's going to go in the
Time
next
it's gonna
storm.
come down, I think rather than have it fall in an inopportune moment, or possibly even fall on somebody, I think we need to go ahead and remove that one.
All right. So is the motion to remove the tree?
Yes.
We got a motion, and we got, who seconded that?
Patrick.
Patrick seconded.
Patrick
Any
made the
further
motion, I
discussion?
seconded
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next one is new business 409 Metalwood. This is the portable boat carport. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second?
Discussion.
Discussion?
So I know a few of us have looked at the property, seen the property. My motion would be that we stay consistent with not allowing.
That is Ward? No. Okay. What's that?
Stay consistent with not allowing to build on a public easement, but in this case, my motion is also going to be that we vacate that easement to the homeowners.
Wait a second here. They're looking for a variance.
Yep, and I'm
Off of their
saying-
side yard.
Well, from what
So
I,
we say, we've had Public Works, everybody's went and looked at it, we're never gonna use it, the city is not in need of the property. So to stay consistent with no one building on a public easement, it is my motion that we vacate that easement to the homeowner.
And I'd like to add to the discussion, Mr. Weed, I was, as you reminded me when you were present last time, I openly spoke out against that. And I tried to explain to you, I don't always succeed, but I try to remain consistent with the way I vote through the years. It's not always, you know, if I miss it, it's not done intentionally. However, let me qualify a few things with you. I did go by, as Patrick mentioned, I did go by there to view your property. I even went as far as to talk to Mike Glass, who contacted me back and said, Pete, this is probably the only instance that I can think of in the city where I wouldn't have a problem with allowing you to do that, okay? So I'm going to try to make sense about this. I can't support it in the method that you're doing right now, only because of the way I voted in the past. However, I concur with Alderman Bennett. I think vacating the property to you, based on the fact that Mr. Glass at Public Works says that it's in no way going to come into any type of need for the city, I would concur with Patrick. So, but as far as in its present form, unless we vacate it to you, I would still have to be opposed to it. But I'm not opposed to it being vacated. If that makes any sense to you.
All right, so where's Patrick at? So you made the motion to vacate,
Yes.
and we've got a second to vacate?
Mayor, let me, one more real quick. Also, if you look directly across the street from them at 200 Meadowwood, there's a fence and a shed already built on the same easement. So there you go.
Well, and I tell you, when I was there, go ahead, Mike.
He's wanting to vacate it. I don't think the gentleman, the ditch is actually in the easement the city maintains from the other side.
Correct.
So I don't think you need to vacate the easement.
Yeah.
He just wants to put up
He's looking for a variance to,
for a temporary.
on
not
setbacks.
temporary, but a-
On setbacks.
A movable structure. He's not pouring a slab, he's not doing it. It's just just a structure that if we had to get in it, and he understands, the city
it
could
out.
go and take 4 men and pick it up and move it to the side.
Yep.
He's not asking to vacate the easement, because there's a ditch there, just concrete.
Outside,
The city needs to maintain.
No, because if we vacate that, then who's going to take care of the ditch? You know, I guess that's the whole point.
Wants the variance to put the cover over his boat there.
We didn't need, I thought it was, the easement
No,
was
I don't think there's,
I think-
would be
I think
a reason for us to vacate the easement,
I don't think we need
because you never know, but.
My motion is to allow them to put the shed where they.
And one
I'll
more
second
point,
your
one more
motion.
point, he's actually asking for 2 variances because the corner of that structure is going to be about 1.5 feet away from that fence, am I right?
Well, I motion to give you 2 variances to put the shed wherever you want to put it.
All right, so we got a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Donald
I'll second
seconded.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank y'all. All right, next one is, and I don't think, the next one is status of municipal court case. Is anyone here? Moving right along.
Missed that.
Cyber security grant program bid. Courtney? This is that cybersecurity. All right, so we have had, it went out for bid. We reviewed the bids. They have made a proposal for a company to come in and to perform the work. I did a little research on his references. It looks good. They were by far the cheapest.
So-
And they do a lot of federal work and state work, and so, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, full disclosure, we talked, and I was talking to David and Courtney about it, is we would still have to have our IT people on site to do that. And so I believe that this is something where we're watching our pennies, but in this day and age of cyber and everything online with our taking payments and things like that, I would have to recommend that we move forward with it.
Okay, so we got the motion based on the recommendation.
Second.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next one is 121 North Seashore Avenue, Alderman McCaffrey and Donald Frazier.
I guess we both put it on the same time. Go ahead.
This is the issue of an oak tree on a public piece of property. I think the mayor's going by there, Mike is going by there, Public Works. This tree is clearly dying, half of it is completely dead. And actually had a tree company go look, the tree is diseased. It is posing a risk to our lift station. We have overhead power running to it. If a piece of this broken, rotted tree falls over, it's gonna knock out our lift station. And Public Works did get a quote of $1,000 to drop this tree and have them remove it. So that being said, I would like to approve the cutting down of this tree.
So we got a motion to
I'll
cut the
second.
tree down. We got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Now we got to appoint someone to the Gulf Regional Planning Commission as our representative.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we select you, appoint you to the commission.
Is that,
All right, we got a motion. That's
Second.
what normally does it, the mayor.
I thought, okay. Is it, question, just, you got a motion and a second, just discussion. In the past, are there two?
Yeah, there are.
There's a technical and a,
MOD.
I got it, okay.
Yeah.
All right, then yes.
All right, so we got a motion and a second, all for me to be the representative for our city, which
Aye.
I proudly do. We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Disc golf course, Mike? Is Mike here? Yeah, Mike. We're gonna get there, Mike.
I promise I'm not taking any trees down.
Not, unless they're pine trees.
No, no. I gotta throw better if I wanna take a tree down. I gave each of y'all a prospectus on
Steve.
cost for
This?
T signs, and I understood that there were some questions about me trying to raise money privately as opposed to asking y'all for it.
What's the total? So what I think I'm hearing him say is there is gonna be additional cost. The county bought the equipment. He's gonna buy the cement and a few other things to put it in place and all. And what he's wanting to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, is to put sponsors on the holes that will offset the cost that he's having to come out of his pocket with.
And this is actually a low number. I need to purchase 30 to 40 directional signs. That would be in addition to this, plus hardware and paint. The difference will come out of my pocket.
Okay.
That'll be a donation that I make personally, but, so nothing goes in my pocket. I'm not making $1 off of this, I promise.
Yeah, and so we just had to run this by our attorney. I appreciate what you're doing. And if it's okay with our attorney, is that something we can do?
I'm just curious as to how the donation is going to be characterized as a contribution or a sponsorship or?
Whatever you say is fine. It can be a donation, it can be a paid advertisement, whatever.
My problem with the paid advertisement is that creates competition between people who would like to advertise there on city property, and that's not something we want to get in the business of having to referee.
What is the total?
They can sure make donations.
17.
I would hope that we would go with the
18
donation
grand.
path. And then,
Donation.
The Parks grant.
I think if he donates it to the city, and then we turn around and reimburse.
Correct.
Can
you
I
for
make
the
a
cost.
suggestion? The county has done a lot to get this. You've personally done a lot. I'll make a motion that we have $400,000 left in our parks fund. I'm gonna make a motion that we pay for the signs.
I'll second that.
Everybody else is anteed up into this project. The
I'll second.
county, personal people. That's what, $1,800 for Parks and Recs. And I mean, I think this is a great project. I'm excited about it. My kids, so.
It'll be two separate things.
Well,
Well, the second one is quotes. So there's two different quotes on there. For one's a smaller sign, one's a bigger sign. So I was going to go with option 2 for the T signs, and then option 4 for the core sign. So it would actually be $2,300 because it's going to be
Right, 2,300 total between the two?
so this is just the breakdown per basket, per hole, and then there's going to be a course sign of the overall course showing every individual hole and the direction that you actually need to go to
Mike,
play.
we're trying to get to a total. We're trying to ask you, what do you need? Total money.
$2,300?
Patrick, you put that in your motion?
I'll second.
Got a motion, a second. You know, the man has already offered to raise the money as donations to get this paid for. We don't have a big surplus of funds at the city, so I would hope that y'all would reconsider.
Parks and Rec has
No,
400,000?
but we've got other places that money can go.
And this money has, that money has
We've
a
got the
deadline.
Quarles House over here that we're going to get the land on, and we've got a lot of improvements to do over there, and of which we don't have enough to do all the improvements we have to do right now. And I don't want to eat away at that if this gentleman here is saying he can get donations. It's up to y'all, but
Steve?
I wish you would
Input?
rethink your motion.
With regards to him soliciting donations, or are we restricted?
I don't have a problem with the city accepting donations that they use earmarked for the purpose, the donation being specifically dedicated for the purpose of these signs. That would ensure that the money that is donated from any private individual or business goes for that purpose, and doesn't get used by the city for something else. That would be fine.
So do we have to vote on Patrick's motion, Mayor?
So,
Would we have to vote on Patrick's motion before we proceed?
Can I just say, we're gonna have to wait for him to get the donations. We're gonna have to wait for all that.
I think I have
The county.
a compromise.
Substitute motion.
I'll offer a substitute motion, and if it gets a second, great. If not, I understand. We'll give the gentleman 60 days to try to raise the money, and then the donations, and we'll commit to any shortfall after the 60 days. We now have a timeline on it, and then we have a commitment to finish this project.
Do you need 60 days, Mike?
No.
About
30 days?
30.
Hey, I'm fast. I've already got 4 donations lined up already.
So
And I
we'll
haven't
give
even
them
told
30
anybody.
days from this meeting, so the first meeting in April, we'll revisit. We'll let him come back. Any shortfall, we'll use out of the parks and.
Yeah, let's look
I'll
at what
second
he
Donald's
raises.
All right, so we've got a
That would be
substitute
my
motion.
substitute.
Who's
I'll
second?
second.
Pete, second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you all.
Mike, thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it, Mike.
Compromising everybody.
Next one is road paving cuts. Alderman McCaffrey.
Yes, if y'all remember, last meeting or the meeting before, we got into discussion about how much we were gonna require patchwork when we did, water and sewer taps. Jesse and I had a good meeting with David and went over all the numbers, and at the end of the day, I think it is in the best interest that we do require the 100 to 110 feet. I think we should be more specific for quantity purposes of 21 tons to
Once
go
we
back.
get to 21 tons, we get a preferred rate. If you buy a yard of asphalt, pointing hand up here, right by the quarter deck, they had to cut across the road. It was, what, $4,400 just to do the cut. And if they do with the preferred rate of, I think, $116 a ton, if you use 21 tons or more, they could have done a 100-foot, 110-foot patch and repair for about $1,100 cheaper than that 2-foot cut was. So it's just, economically, it makes more sense to get the preferred rate and get a better repair and cover more ground because you get a better price on the product.
I think the next answer is, how do we enact this? David, we said we can just include it in our ordinance or direct.
Yeah, I had written some time ago just the suggested revisions to the city's code of ordinances, which I think is represented on the website. That might be the method, or there may be another way, but I did have a suggested paragraph.
I think this fits into this fits well into what you had previously recommended.
And I think that's what he's talking about, that he presented to us before. I think we should enact that into our current ordinance.
All right, so can you come back with a do we need to come back with that updated ordinance at the next meeting and approve it?
I can do that.
All right, let's do that. So,
Perfect.
we're gonna direct,
That's my motion
David Ball to
correct.
come back with that updated
Updated ordinance.
ordinance.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All, we got a motion?
Sure.
Donald, second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Next one is introduction of Long Beach's Men Business Club, Alderman Frazier.
So I was approached by a gentleman, Mr. Eddie Seal, and they have formed an organization, and he asked if he could come tonight and be on the agenda to introduce himself and the businessmen's, the area businessmen's club. So correct me if I've
I'm
stumbled
going
all
to ask
over
for just
that.
a brief little bit of latitude on the 2 minutes because I got to make a correction.
Name and address for the record.
The Eddie Seal, my city property is 131 Belterre Court.
Gotcha.
First, a correction, this is not a men's club. The other ones in the area are businessmen's clubs. This is going to be the Long Beach Area Business Owners Association. We have a lot of women-owned businesses, and I don't see the sense in leaving 50% of our brain power on the sideline. So this is going to be for men and women. So I'm going to introduce this. The Long Beach Area Business Owners Association is now forming, led by a steering committee developing the charter, constitution, and bylaws that will guide our work. This association will be composed of business owners who employ people right here in Long Beach. While we're fortunate enough to have an excellent chamber of commerce with strong leadership, our association will serve a different purpose. We exist to unite privately owned small businesses and address the challenges that uniquely affect us, challenges that government agencies or publicly funded entities simply do not face or even fully understand. We will bring in subject matter experts to speak on issues that directly impact small businesses, including tax changes, employee benefits, workers' compensation, payroll regulations, legal matters, and insurance. Our members will meet regularly to discuss real-world issues, share best practices, and support one another with a unified voice. A key priority of the association will be collaboration with city leadership and candidates for those offices. When new regulations, ordinances, or policy changes are being considered, we want business owners to be informed early, to discuss the implications together, to engage with elected officials and candidates for office before decisions are finalized, ensuring that a challenge for one business does not become a problem for all of us. We will also offer constructive recommendations to leaders and candidates who support a strong business-friendly environment in Long Beach. Our businesses do far more than generate sales and property taxes. We employ local residents, from teenagers earning their first paycheck to lifelong career employees who then reinvest their earnings right here in our community. Large events, sometimes misunderstood as costly or inconvenient, help sustain many of our businesses through the slower seasons. Visitors who attend these events often return throughout the year, becoming repeat customers. And this is a written statement we all agreed on, but I'm going to interject something right here because this changed in the last few days. There's a group called the North Shore Jeepers that, because we host Jeep in the Coast, have planned 2 additional events. These won't be city permitted events. They're just big gatherings where they come over for the weekend, Airbnbs, the Inn at Long Beach, all the restaurants. Talking about 70, 80 Jeeps at a time. 2 separate weekends in addition to the big event. It's our businesses that sponsor youth sports, school programs, church groups, scouts, community clubs, and the events that bring Long Beach together, from First Friday to the New Year's Eve celebration and many others. We look forward to building a strong cooperative partnership between the mayor, the board of aldermen, and the business community to ensure Long Beach continues to thrive. And I'm going to end with a quote, and then if y'all have questions, I'll be glad to answer. A good friend of ours in Pastor Shan, Mr. Dave Dennis, who many of y'all know, used to serve on the Federal Reserve Board in New Orleans under Alan Greenspan. He sat in a room with the heads of Mississippi, the Southern Company, CSX Railroad, all these big national companies. And when they would ask, what is your long-term plan? They had these 1, 3, 5, and 10-year plans. His plan was the same as all of ours. Make payroll next Friday for our employees. And that's our short and long-range plan. So thank you all for your time. If anybody's got any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Thank you, Eddie.
And one correction on the math on the Jeeping thing, because I did the math. It's $6,215.
We already settled that.
All right, I just want to say it in front of everybody. $6,215 just off the vendor village.
So Eddie, I think this is a great idea, and I think you'll be a big help. Right now, we have an Economic Development Commission group now that are doing just what you're talking about, the 3, 5, 10, 15-year plans, and we would invite your help and y'all's input.
We'll be glad to collaborate with them, y'all, whoever wants to.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, the next one is the sponsorship for the Pink Heart Funds. Yes, ma'am. Come up and state your name and address, please.
I will, thank you. My name is Judith Brannon, and I'm the Vice President of Pink Heart Funds. The address for our business is the Knight Nonprofit on Seaway, 11795 Seaway Road, Suite A118. My purpose for coming tonight, and I've been talking to all of the cities across the coast, we are a nonprofit 501c3 that work with the lower 6 counties of our state, cancer patients, men, women, children, all cancers. Many of you from Long Beach probably know of Pink Hearts because our founding person in 2005 was from Long Beach. We had our original office in Long Beach. We did a lot of our fundraising at the town center, but I have to be happy to say that we outgrew Long Beach and we needed to move on. So that's why we're not in Long Beach any longer. But before I go into my pitch, so to speak, I just want to ask you all and the audience, have any of you been touched by cancer, either personally, in your family, or within your circle of friends? So you can see that our need is big. Unfortunately, the need does not go away. Our organization is all volunteers, so the dollars that we raise, other than covering our overhead, go directly to patient care. We've been known across the years as providing free wigs, free breast prosthetics and bras, free lymphedema sleeves, which is all very good, but there's a different need, and it's the growing need of our organization. Our board of directors last year agreed to do financial funding with very strong restrictions. The requests coming from the social worker or the nurse navigator of the cancer patient. Our patients many times are uninsured or underinsured. That was our original mission. The truth of the matter is, even with insurance, people have a hard time sometimes making their rent or mortgage, their car payment, their utilities. So we have a ceiling of how much we can do per person per year, but many times that will just take that, that very frightening challenge away from them. So we are in our fundraising every day, really. It's not just a season. And I had sent to Kathy Cook information about 2 of our projects that we're doing this year. There's one in April, which is a 5K run, family walk, family day. And in September, we have one called Out of Bounds, which is going to focus on preventative exams, talking a lot about our men's cancer because y'all aren't doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it is a fundraising gala, if you will. The need is big. I'm only asking for $500. That will give you recognition at both events in our social media, in our programs, in our banners, et cetera. If you want to give more, I will be very happy to consider that.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there any motion from the board?
I'll make the motion that we sponsor $500.
We got a motion, we got a second.
Discussion. I don't want to be the stick in the spokes here, but if y'all remember, about 6 months ago, a lady named Cynthia came and stood at that podium, and she asked for money for foster children that were displaced due to abuse in the home, and this board decided that we just, because of pennies being tight, we just couldn't do that. We couldn't give $1,000. You heard me say earlier about consistency with regards to the way I feel about it, so I just wanted to offer that input.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So we had a motion and a second. Did you want to offer a substitute motion, or you?
No, sir.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. And your return investment, by the way, will be if your family or friends need us, we're there for you. I'm going to give some papers to your clerk. It includes the W-9 and the information if anybody needs that. Is that all right?
Thank you.
All right, next one is FEMA flood rating.
So
Alderman Frazier.
I just wanted to bring this up, just kind of an FYI to the board members and just say it in front of everybody. Was at a FEMA flood meeting about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, and the subject came up about building in flood zones without permits and stuff like that, especially fences. I just kind of want to keep you guys up to date that we just, with all this new building going on, Mike and Tina and Sean are doing a great job, but we also need to be diligent in watching what's going on. People don't always know, and with 3 people, you can't cover the entire city day in, day out. And just kind of a heads up, you know, because they did not follow the FEMA guidelines, George County is on the verge of being kicked out of the flood program. So what that means is, you know, what that means is if you have a mortgage and you can't get flood insurance, you're forced placed. And what you and I would pay through FEMA, $1,000, $2,000, you're now paying $8,000 and $9,000. So what one person does, whether it be accident or not, can affect everybody in our city. So we just need to make sure that we're doing our due diligence when we're out there.
So I understand you correctly, you're saying be careful of putting fences in flood zones?
Fences, buildings, Mike and I talk a lot. There was an instance over here that we were dealing with somebody bringing in fill dirt in a flood zone for a boat shed. The discussion came up earlier at this meeting when one of the people got up and talked about not wanting to spend the money for this development that we tabled by bringing in dirt. You cannot bring dirt in a V zone. And these are the things that we, you know, we've, Pete, you were with me and some of the other members. We've gone up and we asked FEMA for money. How's it going to look, you know, for our harbor? How's it going to look if we get penalized by them and we're asking for help with our harbor? It's not going to look that good. So it's just word of caution. So that's why I brought it up. It was fresh in my mind when I put it out there. So.
And I think Mike and.
I think they do
all
a
y'all
great
do
job.
great
That's
job.
not, I guess what I'm saying is, just
Yeah.
to make sure I'm clear, and if I didn't, they're doing a great job. What we need to do is, we need, as a board, to help them any way we can. So, there you go.
All right. No motion on
No, nothing.
that. Next one is paving Townson Flurry Road.
Yes, that would be me. Yeah. Just to refresh the board's memory, first of all, I have Chuck and Linda Vanderberge sitting in the audience who actually reside on Townson Flurry Road. And the returning members of the board may remember that right at the end of the last administration, this board addressed the need to pave Townson Flurry Road due to the fact that it had not been paid in 40 years or more since the county took it over. Along with that discussion, since we took it over from the county, along with that discussion came some complexity that David Ball was addressing with regards to easement and such as that with regards to the roadway. Is that correct, David? Okay, so we needed to, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, we needed to go speak with property owners with regards to giving up easement for us to proceed. Is that also correct?
Correct.
Okay. So where we are right now, according to Linda, and I'll yield to her and let her speak a little bit so she can make sure she's giving us 100% correct information. The only person that needed to be reached was Mr. Flurry himself. I provided, so you know, a phone number for him to David Ball, and now I'm bringing it to the board to see where we are. And Linda, if you want to, or somebody, I see somebody raising their hand.
If you would come up to the mic and your name and address, please.
So you leave that bottle home, Linda.
Sorry, y'all. Excuse me. I didn't mean to come up there like this.
No, you're fine.
It wasn't wrong, it was pretty accurate.
The first thing is the roads
Name and address, please.
I'm Cindy Townson. I live at 20023 Townson Flurry Road.
All right, thank you.
That's in Long Beach. Okay, years ago, people were complaining about Lee Street flooding on the corner. So the city came in and dug a ditch different to where that ditch used to be many moons ago. So that made the road cave in. You actually can stand on the side of the road and look down, and it looks like you're on the edge of a cliff. Before long, somebody will drive over that, and their car will fall into the road ditch, which is over 4 foot tall at that one area. The road was paved actually about 40 years ago. People on the road have gotten west now due to the ditches not being cleaned, due to the culverts being clogged. I spoke to Mr. Flurry, which Mr. David said he is the only person that needs to sign in order for it to be approved. He's most of the time at his other residence, which is in Red Creek. He told me that he's perfectly fine with the road being paved, that it needs it. I called him one evening at home. He don't seem to care too much about it because he's going through a divorce there. He's more worried about his clothes getting thrown out in the yard and trees getting cut down, palm trees in his yard, speaking of trees. But we just want our road paved because it's tearing up our vehicles. Thank you.
Everybody else has agreed to it.
David, to get to the point, do we need signatures from people in order to proceed with that, or is word of mouth sufficient?
I mean, obviously, I'll work at y'all's direction, but I believe the survey that was performed, property survey, indicated that there was property still owned by private owners where that existing roadway is. So at least by the property survey that was performed, that existing roadway is not in city right-of-way. At least for some of it. Some of it was in the city's right-of-way, and then there was some near the western end. I think Mr. Flurry, and I actually did think there was another one, that the roadway is either all or partially on private property.
Okay, I'm Linda Vonderbree, and I live at 20036 Townson Flurry Road, and I've lived there nearly 50 years. I'm the one that got the county to pave our road back then and put in culverts. Since then, y'all have not had to pave our road, put the culverts in. You did clean the ditches at one time, but y'all quit that. Okay, now my problem is, everybody says they don't care, right? Okay, now we get mail on our road. Y'all mow our road sometimes, so it doesn't seem like why we can't get the road paved. I mean, there is big old holes at the front of the thing that just about kill me to go down it. I've had back surgeries, I've had knee surgery, and my husband's trying to dodge it all every time we go down it. He's threatened me to go down there. He's gonna go put concrete in it. Because we've got to have something done to that road. And I think over 40-something years we've lived there, nothing's been done. And I'd appreciate greatly if y'all could do something or consider doing it, whatever.
Linda, the reason that I brought that up was really not to throw darts at people. The reason I brought it up was to see what legally is preventing us from getting this completed. We want to do it, but we're hamstrung.
Okay, well, I can't remember his name, Bob, whatever.
David.
David.
Pointing at you.
Okay. He said he was going to send out a registered letter to everyone on our street. But that was back close to a year ago. Yes, you did, sir. I've got it wrote down in my notes at my house.
No, he just said he didn't
Oh,
send the
but he
registered
did
letter.
not send them out.
Right.
So I don't know what the holdup is.
Well,
Go ahead.
I guess, Steve, can we draw up the paperwork?
The issue, and
And
David and I
have them-
discussed this back at that time, the time you're talking about. The issue, of course, and the city's been called on the carpet, so to speak, in the past for performing city work at taxpayer expense on private property. That's strictly prohibited.
We
There
pay
was-
taxes.
There was an effort to
Okay.
get permission of the property owners to allow, and one of the things we did was a survey at that time to find out where the city's ownership stopped and the private individual started. And then there was a discussion back at that time, David, as I recall, that we were going to attempt to solicit the permission of the private owners to do some of the road work. So to answer your question, yes, I think we can do that, because the city, as she has suggested, has maintained portions of the road in some form or fashion in the past. And that's just something that needs to be artfully drawn up with David and myself and the property owners.
Well, the returning members of the board can correct me if I'm wrong, but was this not approved? Donald, do you recall?
The survey was approved?
The
Survey was for sure.
Well, and also, did we not approve the paving of Townsend Front?
We did not.
We did not approve that?
We did not approve the paving because it was on private
We
property.
can't spend public funds on private property. So if we get the easements that we need, and I agree with you, ma'am, I'd have a bad back if I had to drive down that road every day too. I rode down there the other day. We would love to help you fix that road, but we have to have easements, which will allow us then to come in. And so that's the process we need to start, is we'll have to have, David, if you would. Is that something that we can send?
He and I will get together and talk about how to proceed with
So-
that.
How to proceed.
So to put it in the minutes, Pete, if you want to make a motion, or I don't mind doing it, but I don't want to step on your toes, make a motion to give our legal counsel the authority to draw up these paperwork for these easements and to have them signed for this road to be put on our paving for the upcoming paving season or whatever we call, our next round of paving.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so we got a motion and a second, and I think that motion included Steve and David Ball working up the
Yes,
the
yeah, it did.
paperwork, and upon completion
Yes,
of
sir.
required paperwork, we'll put it on the paving list to get that done. All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next one is, you're welcome. Funding opportunity for rec trails program. Courtney, you want to kind of talk to that a little bit? Or if
Yeah.
you want me to, whatever you want to do.
No, I can. So we were looking at, in the last meeting, the Quarles property and adding the pickleball courts and a trail there. The fund of the parks grant is running low, and we did find this grant. It is for trails. There is a match. It's 80-20. I just need the board's authority to apply for it, and the 20% match, we could possibly use the parks grant that we currently have.
Be perfect.
Motion
Motion.
to approve the grant.
Quick
Writing of the
discussion.
grant.
What's the amount of the grant?
Up to 120.
Up to 120?
8 to 100.
From 8,000,
Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Who was the second?
I was.
We got a motion second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next one is just to approve the beer and bacon permit.
So moved.
Second.
Motion got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Is for alcohol and beer on city property. Okay, just making sure.
All right, next one is special event, application and fee waiver for Long Beach Police Department Night Out.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The next one is Freedom Ranch Animal Show, First Baptist Church.
Motion.
We got a motion,
Second.
second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Next one is use of town green for summer reading program, the Long Beach Public Library.
Motion.
Got a motion? Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next, we got a glass panel door for comptroller's office and Courtney's office. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Got a motion?
Second, sorry.
Got a second? Any discussion?
Yeah, what, did the other one break or something?
No, what it was, those offices had another purpose. One was a mail room and the other one was for storage. And so-
Security.
And so those are solid doors and we want to make them the glass doors.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next one is approve the revenue expense report for the Long Beach School District.
I'm going to recuse myself.
All right.
Their budget?
No, so what this is, when we went into the lease agreement with the school to lease the whole piece of property and not just the front part, we also agreed to give them a quarterly report, kind of showing them what activity's going on the town green. And if we make a profit above what it costs to put on the event, that they would get a percentage of that money, of which we rarely, I don't remember last time we've actually made any money off of those events, but if we do, and I would envision it be, if on down the road, they approve for the city to put some kind of business on there.
Got it,
And
got it,
lease it, they would get a portion of the lease.
got it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
We didn't get a motion or a second.
We got a motion. Donald, second.
Second.
Timmy? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Courtney, I recuse myself. Thank you.
All right, so I've got,
Nine.
go ahead.
Yeah, you got the new ones
19,
on there.
20, 21.
All right,
That's
so
what I
we've
wanted to
got,
remind you.
Yeah, let me go
Tree
back
board.
there.
The tree
All right, we
board
got the tree
appointment.
board appointment
That's
by
Jesse.
Jesse.
I'd like to appoint Sherry Grady to the tree board. At her request, she approached me, contacted me with an interest to serve in that capacity, and I think it's a great idea.
I'll second that.
Are you sure? Okay.
You sure?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries, and thanks. It's not an easy job.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Congratulations.
Let's see.
Agenda.
Agenda description.
Patrick.
Patrick.
20.
Agenda description.
So basically, I know we've talked about it before, but I'm going to go ahead and make it into a motion. I'm going to make a motion that we change our agenda, at least the formatting for new business. I gave you all examples of what Pastor Shan does, and basically all it is, instead of just having for example, on ours it says discussion, disc golf course, Mike Smith, it's more of a who, what, when, where. If it's approving $50,000 for a fire hose for the fire department, it says so-and-so's requesting X amount of dollars. It basically is just giving a brief half a paragraph to a paragraph description of each agenda item. That way, when the public sees the agenda, they don't have to call and ask, what is this, what it is. It'll tell the amount, who, when, what, where. So my motion is that we begin this at our next meeting.
Well, second.
All right, so we got a motion, a second, to expand the description on items on the agenda. Any further discussion?
Is that only new business or?
No, I think it's, if you look at theirs, it's pretty much everything. Most of it, some of it's only a sentence and a half, some of it's a full paragraph,
I
just.
think it's good to give more transparency for.
Well, he got
All right,
something
all in
on.
favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Next item is, what was that third
Status.
item?
Status.
Oh, status of the audit?
So we did approve for an audit in, I want to say, August. I think we need to go ahead and quickly move forward with that. If y'all don't have any issues with it, I think maybe have 3 companies by the first meeting in April that we can go ahead and select to, because I think it should be services. I think we could just request 3 prices, I think, and I would take suggestions of how far we want to go back. I think that's a good place to start. 5, I agree.
All right, so we've got that a motion to move forward with the audit. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, discussion. So we have a regular audit in April. This is more of a forensic type audit. So we need to be more specific about what type of audit we're approving. So,
The type of audit, and depending upon the cost, whether or not that needs to go out for RFQs or whether or not it can be a personal service contract.
okay, so.
I'm not sure what something like that costs.
I don't either.
It's
So why
gonna
don't we
be
come back
upwards of
at the next
30,000.
meeting and give you some some ideal prices, to see if we're gonna have to put out a bid for it?
We looked at it, and it was over $30,000 the last time.
One thing they will
We
need.
don't have to bid it if it's.
We would
less
have to
than-
Need to know
That's why I
somewhat the
guess-
scope.
If you wanna,
Yeah.
if you're in a hurry
Mayor,
to
one
get
thing
it
they
done,
will need to know
We're
is
gonna have to
the
go
number
put
of
it together
years
for
and
bid.
how far back, the
Yeah.
scope of the audit.
I'd say 5.
To give a fair estimate, they'll need to know the scope and how far back the audit's gonna go, so.
Why don't we give them a à la carte, where they can quote it 5, 4, 3, and that way, we might not be able to afford 5, we might be able to afford 3. Let's just get a quote from them on how much it would cost by year.
Who's going to solicit that?
We'll have to,
City
we'll have
clerk.
to put together the bid package. We'll have to put that bid out, and we'll have to see what comes back.
Depending upon the amounts, but I would think the city clerk could solicit those estimates.
I believe if it's under 50, we just have to get multiple
Bids?
bids. Not bids. You can price it and you take 75. I don't think it'll go over. I wouldn't
I
assume.
have no idea.
That it would. So it'd be, my motion would be that we go back. I don't know if we can afford not to go back 5 years with where we are with some of our books and stuff. So I think we do 5 years. I don't see it going over 75. So we could just reach out to 3 different accounting firms and get a
You're
price.
saying
and-
75,000.
I'm saying if it goes over 75, then we would have to go through the
All right.
RFQ process. If it doesn't, we could just get 3 prices and go with the cheapest one.
All right, so the motion is to, in the proposal is to go back 5 years and a full audit.
Yep, full forensic for 5 years.
And did you want the first meeting in April or the next meeting like the mayor?
No, the
had
first
mentioned?
meeting in April would be great.
Yeah,
Sooner is better than later. I
I
think we need
it's
to do
been
it.
a long time coming. It's time for it.
all right. Steve, you got?
No, it's tax season. We're
good?
probably going to be spending more money doing it now because of tax season. I'm of the opinion we might want to consider, for a cost standpoint, just pushing it out of tax season and pushing it into audit season. I don't want to wait, but from a monetary, financial standpoint, it might make better sense to push it back.
My suggestion is we go ahead and get prices. If we think that it's unreasonable,
Okay.
then we can push it back.
And we could offer to the individuals, is it going to be cheaper if we wait a while?
All right, so, Steve, is that a good enough motion?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. All right. Next item. So, like I had talked about earlier, I would like to, and I try to get this on the agenda, and Emma's not there, so I would like to set up a work session for next Tuesday. I have this guy that's very well-known, urban forest, live oak guy. He wants to come and do it. He's done it for Ocean Springs. I think he's doing it for Gulfport. He's done some over in Alabama. He's done some in Louisiana. And I'm thinking no more than an hour, just to kind of give everybody a feel for, because we're going through these issues all the time. So he will help us to understand the impact and possibly some recommendations.
When?
I'm not
Next Tuesday.
available on the 10th.
Neither am I, neither is he.
All right,
State said.
What about Wednesday? I mean,
we can do it on a Wednesday.
I'm fine with Wednesday.
So next Wednesday, does that sound good?
Mayor, what time? We have court at 3.
5 o'clock. What time?
We have court in the afternoons.
We have court on that Wednesday.
Thursday.
All right, Thursday, good for everybody?
Have a planning meeting.
I tell you what,
How about we push it back to the following Tuesday?
Why, could he come to the next meeting? Or you said it's an hour?
no, I'd like for it to be in a work session type environment.
Why don't we do it at 4 o'clock before our meeting? before our next meeting.
That puts limitations on them, though.
Can't we do next Monday?
Is next Monday working for everybody?
Rather,
The guys
I
will
could
come
be in
whenever
court
we ask
late.
them to.
Thursday would be a better day for me.
Tuesdays is the only free day I have, so y'all don't take me into it.
I say we do it before the meeting, before our next Tuesday meeting.
There's a baseball game.
Yeah, that's Tuesday.
Baseball game
All right, so Pete, are you not good for next Monday?
I could possibly be in court late. We have a trial going on.
Fine, and we can update you on, I mean, it's information type stuff.
I mean, I could possibly be here, but
All right, so how about next next Monday at 5 o'clock?
So,
Monday at 5, work session.
All right, so work session next
Monday.
Monday at 5 o'clock. Can I get a motion?
motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next one is the Gateway Electrical Upgrade. We ran across the issue this week in that the electrical supply to the Gateway project at the sign, because remember, the Gateway project is going to have multiple light poles with, it's got the plug-ins up high. We've got pavilions with electrical in there. Well, when they tested the electricity at the sign, instead of being 110 volt, it was 93. It will not handle the increased requirement for electrical. It would not handle the food truck, wouldn't handle the lights. So it was very underpowered. So I had Mississippi Power work up basically a cost and putting this in for $19,000. And they're gonna run from the transformers at Steve's Marina. They would bore from there up to the seawall, going west all the way to the sign. They'll put in a transformer, and that will give us the ability in the future to host multiple events down there, whether it be a food truck or whatever. Right now, we can barely turn the lights on.
Very limited and
Very-
with all the work we're doing
very
down there, we
limited.
need to have
Discussion.
Yeah, so let's get a, so
Go
can I
ahead,
have a
get-
motion on that?
motion.
second.
Second. Discussion.
So is the option that we, I don't know if it's lease them from Mississippi Power like we do the others? Is that not on the table, or is this one of these things that we have to buy outright?
Randall, you want to, here, Randall is.
I didn't even
Andy
see you
Corn.
back there.
So I didn't see you either till just a minute ago. So, kind of bring everybody up. I hope I didn't,
No, you did fine.
right, good.
Everything you said was 100% accurate. So in talking to Mississippi Power, the $19,000 is to run the cable and the conduit from Steve's to the sign. They will provide the transformer. The transformer is not in that cost. They will put that.
Right, I guess what threw me off, and just for clarity, are the
they're
street
all-
lights?
Yeah, no, we're not going through,
So we're purchasing
yes,
them,
we own what we have down there, so we're not paying a monthly
correct?
fee. to Mississippi Power, we outright own
Correct.
everything that's
This has nothing
going
to do
down
with the
there.
lights. This is for us to get more power down there for our
Okay.
events.
Do we have
When you
money?
said the lights,
Yeah,
that's
no,
what
no,
threw me
I
off,
didn't-
sorry.
We wouldn't have lights if we went with what we have.
Got it.
There's not enough power.
All right,
Will this come out of like a contingency?
Yeah, we got 24,000 in contingency,
Yes, sir.
and this is 19,000,
Yes, sir.
and, we got some ideas on how we may be able to funnel in ARPA and MICWE money in here to try to help out.
Yes, sir.
So I feel good about it, and I think this is the way to go for the long term. So is there any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Randall. The next one is
personnel.
Joey Jafria. You have an item that you'd like to discuss?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I received a letter from the treasurer of the state of Mississippi, David McRae, and I just want to read a paragraph that he sent from this letter. It said, "One of the simplest and most meaningful ways we can partner with you, Alderman Jafria, is through our Unclaimed Money Division. Right now, there are millions of dollars in unclaimed money owed to Mississippians across the corner of the state, every corner of the state. These funds belong to your residences. They are hard-earned wages, forgotten bank accounts, utility deposits, insurance proceeds, and more. Our job at the Treasury is to reunite people with what is rightfully theirs, and your leadership can play a role in helping spread that word locally. And I reached out to the Treasurer's office, and I started talking to them, and they were very interested in my ward, you know, and helping us kind of find these people in the ward and you know, hook them up with their unclaimed money in the state. And I said, well, let's do this, you know, citywide. Let's take a look at it. Since we're doing it, why not just do it for the whole city? And that made a lot of sense. So basically what he did, one of the head of that division pulled a list for me for the city of Long Beach. Now, these funds, I've always heard about these funds in the state. I never quite understood, you know, what this money was for, but they always said there's money here you might be entitled to get in touch with them and find out and what have you. But basically, I got an Excel spreadsheet sent to me, and that listed in there everybody in the city of Long Beach that has their money, not the city's money, but you guys' money in the state treasury, to say up in Jackson. And that list, that Excel spreadsheet had 6,297 unique addresses, households that are you know, entitled to this money. And you won't believe how much money we're talking about here. We're talking about a total of $3.1 million that the state of Mississippi has in the Treasury for our citizens, not for all of them, but these particular citizens that are on this list. I got the list, and he said, Joey, you're going to really probably recognize a lot of the names on this list. And I started to pour through it, and there's one name that jumped straight out at me. And guess whose name it was? Our mayor.
And I'm pretty tight with my money, so I would have thought I would have accounted for every penny I had.
And the mayor validated what he was telling me. He said, we try to go out and we send these letters out and try to tell these people that we have your money, but a lot of people, and Tim attests to this, he thought it was a scam or something. He threw the letter away. So, you know, what we decided to do and what they were going to do is, I'm going to announce now, on Monday, March the 16th, from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock, the Treasury is going to, the staff from the Treasury is going to set up in this room, and they're going to bring their computers or laptops with them, their Wi-Fi and everything else. And we're going to get the word out that if you want to check this list and see if your name is on it, this is your money again. And it's over $3 million. And what great news. I looked at the list, and it was sorted by the amount of money that was due to these individuals, and some of them were, you know, like estates, and some of them, it was up from $70-something thousand down to $30. So there's a lot of money out there, and, you know, if you think you might want to come and be interested in checking the list, I saw a lot of names that I recognized. And, you know, just want to make sure we get the word out. Courtney, I think you're going to put on the website a link, is that correct? If you want to check and see if your name is on there prior to this meeting on Monday, March the 6th, you can go to our website and you can click on there and see if your name is listed in there. Now, if you don't want to do that, you want to come to the meeting on March the 16th, they're going to have everything here that you need in order to do there's no paperwork. They're doing it online and get all the information so you can get this money. But we were talking about this. This is over $3 million that belongs to you guys. And what are you going to do with the money? We think you're probably going to spend some of it in Long Beach. So we're going to get something. The city will get something out of it. But most importantly, this is your money. So please, we're going to be putting out press releases.
Next week.
Pardon?
Next week.
Next week, the state, the Treasury Department is going to be putting out press release. And I also want to mention, this is not just for Long Beach, this event. We're going to open it up to the surrounding areas. So if you're seeing this streaming live, you know, you're welcome to come and attend this meeting and see if you're owed some of this money. But we're just looking at $3.1 million for our Long Beach residences, and there's a lot more out there for other folks too.
What it was worth, I've been on the website and I was angling for the 3.1 million, I got $73. I'll take what I can get, so.
I have to be honest with you, the first name that I checked for was mine, but it was not on there. But anyway.
Well, I'm glad you're doing this for the people of Long Beach, 'cause, I'll be here on March 16th.
I'll bet you will.
To get mine, so
Great.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is Personnel Fire Department. 8-step increases. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Police Department, FTO pay.
Motion.
Second.
A motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Recreation, 1 new hire. Can I get a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Nothing from the city clerk, she's out this week. Fire Department? Good. Police Department, surplus property.
Motion.
Got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Everybody's getting tired up here.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Engineering, advertisement schedule for Rosalie.
Actually, 5 projects: Rosalie, Pinecrest, Latil Pump Station, Daughtery Apartments Pump Station, and Parkwood Pump Station. All those are ready to go.
Can we get a motion to advertise?
Motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Thank you, David. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
David, we're on the engineering. Can you give us a status update on the paving or striping for East Railroad?
I don't know anything really more than the latest info I have is that when the county road manager passed away, they spent a significant amount of time appointing a new road manager. And that has recently happened in the last week, or I think probably 2 weeks. And we're in fairly regular contact with that department, trying to push that along. I've not reached above that department to the supervisor or anything like that. I work in my lane, so
Okay.
we've been coordinating with them, but I don't have a time other than to say it was just continually being put off because they were not going to get any direction from the road manager because he was passed away.
Just want the citizens to know that we're on top of it and we're pushing that as far, as fast as we can. Okay? Thank you, David. Appreciate
sir.
your help.
All right, next item is bait shop repair bids.
And we'll both speak on this. We did have some bids come in on the bait shop, and they were significantly higher than we anticipated. That being said, I think I would like to put it back out for bid to see if we can find some more contractors to put some numbers to it. But being this bid came in at about 35% of what a new bait shop would cost, while we're trying to find more contractors to see if we can get a lower bid, I would entertain us looking at the possibility of having to buy a new bait shop. Because I hate to spend 30% of the value of a new trailer on a floor repair, when in 6 months an AC can go out that we've already been told is outdated, can't be fixed, it have to be completely replaced. At that point, that goes out. We've dumped a lot of money into something that has no value. So I'd like to make a motion that we put this back out for bid. I'd like to close the bid to have it on the next agenda to see if we have numbers any lower. But also, in the meantime, reach out and get some prices on some new bait shops.
All right. And
Enough time, 2 weeks?
To find some local contractors, yeah. I think so.
all right, I would like to, Steve, I would like to look into that bait shop lease and find out just what the
What
lease
our
is saying.
obligations are.
And our obligations. At the same time, he can be getting these quotes, these bids. Thanks.
I
All right, we
agree.
got a motion?
You want that included in the motion?
Yes.
Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got a motion, and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next one is Public Works.
Got the
There you go. You're not used to talking.
No,
So you want to purchase the?
Motion to
flail?
approve. I read through it.
Yeah,
It's
and I just want to say how we came across this. I think it's right around 10,000, was it?
yes, it's
For it?
10,000 for the flail.
And so what we do is, a lot of y'all aware that the water district, Harrison County, Long Beach Water District.
Water Management District, yes.
Sometimes can't handle the requirements that are for the
Cutting of the
water
canals.
district. So our guys went in and cleaned it out. We made a
Good chunk of money.
good chunk of money. We're going to reuse that money to go out and buy some replacement equipment. So,
And I'll add that the flail mower makes it, it cuts it nicer than just the regular bush hog.
Yep.
It does.
So,
So I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Signs for Jeff Davis. We have some quotes for the signs that need replacing on Jeff Davis. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Recreation, this is not a good subject we're fixing to have to talk
I
about.
don't know if everybody knows, but we were vandalized last Tuesday or Wednesday night. They cut almost 500 feet of,
Hey, get close to the microphone if you would. Thank you.
they cut almost 500 feet of our cable connecting the back lights and pulled it, stole the wire. We're looking at a total 760 feet to replace at a cost of $7,000
Gee.
to get us that.
But we're going above ground this time.
We are going above. They'll have to shimmy the pole this time if they want to steal, but I'm not putting it past them. Gonna have to climb a pole to get it.
To me, I mean, we don't really have a choice to replace it. That should probably come out of the Parks and Rec money.
I agree.
So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I think the season starts in like a week and a half.
Dondi actually is waiting on y'all to vote on it after this extremely long meeting, and they'll be ready there first thing in the morning.
Perfect. Deal. All right, thank you for staying in this long meeting. All right, next building office.
Good.
All right, Harbor? Let's see, community affairs?
I have something to add. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Okay. I have 2 sign requests. One is for Touch a Truck, and one is for the Long Beach High School Spring Band Festival. They would like to place signs at intersections around the city as well as on Railroad.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I have one more thing.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. My other item, I gave y'all an email as well as a quote from Weaver. We were talking about the cybersecurity grant beforehand, and at this moment right now, we do not have a breaker box in our server room. And since we are getting a lot of new equipment and updated equipment, we need to get a new breaker and outlets in that room. And so this is just a quote from Weaver to run the lines and create that. And that has to be done before the grant can be installed.
Price of that?
7,000.
7,000.
It's $3,975.
Oh, don't listen.
And that money can come out of the allocated money that was in the letter from the cybersecurity.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The next one is derelict property. I don't think we have any. I want to go back before we get to the city attorney, just to update y'all on one other thing. So down at the Gateway project, we had the outflow pipes that, if you've noticed, the county's going around replacing those outflow pipes. We were scheduled to be in round 2, which would have been after the time frame we would have completed Gateway, which would have meant we would have had to come back in there and tear it back up. Randall on our Endocorp, he caught the issues with the pipe that was there. The Sand Beach Authority, we work with them. They put us at the top of their list. They have gone in and we replaced the double pipes south of Jeff Davis. They're replacing the one that's on the east side by Steve's. Should be finished with those Friday, and it was a minimal impact to the status of the project. So I just want to keep y'all up to date. That's what you're seeing down there So if you see your people from Sand Beach, thank them, because they put us up at the top of the list. All right, report from city attorney.
Mayor, I'd request a short executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation, Long Beach Harbor Resorts, and our contract for attorneys.
All right, so we got
Motion.
we got a motion. Second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Can I get a motion to come out of executive session?
Motion with no action taken. Motion to come out with no action.
Is there a motion? Do we have a motion for anything?
Who's making it?
Mr. Mayor, I would request the board to consider a motion authorizing approval of the letter engaging the law firm of Schwartz Orgler to help defend the city of in the deck action filed by Long Beach Harbor Resorts.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I
Has
think,
to.
can I have a motion to adjourn this?
We have a
evening?
motion. We have to
On that
sign.
paperwork.
What's that?
We'll have to sign. a
Yeah,
letter.
yeah, we can do it. All right, we got a motion, a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Second.
Hey, you gonna give me my pen?
She went to copy
See
it.
how he does? Your song.
Don't leave
Before y'all sign it,
until I get your
just-
signature.
Where's the,
Before
Yeah,
y'all
don't leave
Make
until
a
you sign
copy
it.
of it.
copies of it?
Just write in the minutes before y'all sign it.
Did Mike
By
leave?
chance have a umbrella policy?